if you have a string called Vivek, so a string has indexing to it, starting from 0. If we move to left to right, the index starts from 0, and the followed ones is increased by 1. If you have a total length of your string is n, then your last index will be n minus 1. Similarly, you have indexing starting from right to left. When you do the right to left, the extreme left one is indexed as -1, then -2, -3, and so on. And here we have seen, if I'm assigning it to a variable called z, then we have seen if I would like to access this particular character or a letter, then I say z of 1, and it gives you the output as I. Why z of 1? Because I is at the index 1. That's the reason you will get the output. So far, till this point, we have seen. So now let us move forward and let us learn a couple of more things. Now, so far we have extracted only one letter from our string. So for to extracting that, we know z of then your index is a syntax to extract the particular letter. Well and good. What if you would like to extract a range of letters? It means suppose starting from 0 index till the letters at the index 2, including the index 2. So you want output via the first 3 letters. How can we do that? For that thing, we have a syntax. So let us see the syntax. It says your variable or your string of, then you give a starting point, colon, then end point. But here remember, the start point is included, but the end point is excluded. Okay, what it means? It means if I saved my string in a variable called z, and I'm doing of 0 colon 2. Okay, so this will give me the output as vi only, because the end is not included when you're using in this slicing. But if you would like to include the index 2 also, then your should be, or your code should be 0 colon 3. Then you will get viv as an output. But the second question is whether I have to start index only with 0 or I can start with any index. You can start with any index. Suppose I would like to extract from this word Vivek, I would like to extract these 3. So we know this particular letter V starts at index 2. So you can write Z of, I am saying Z because I'm assuming that this string is in this variable or assigned to this variable. That's why. So Z of 2 colon 2 colon. Now we know this is at index 2, 3, 4. And if I do 2 colon 4, what would be my output? Just now I explained it here. If I do 2 colon 4, what would be my output? Now tell me, if I do a Z of 2 colon 4, what would be my output if my string is Vivek? V, because we are starting at index 2, very good. It starts with V, but it gives you E also. And does it give us K? Will it give us a K? The reason is explained here, where the start position is included, but the end position is not included. It is excluded. That's the reason when you execute this thing, you will only get VE. But if you want to have this K also, then your code should be 2 colon 5, which will give you VEK as an output. That's good. But you say now this particular string is very small. So anything you see in double quotations or a single quotations or a triple quotations is a string. Does not matter what it is. It might be any special character, any number, anything. It will be treated as a string only. Okay, we'll see that example also as you asked. Okay, but now suppose we have a situation where your string is not only 5 character long. What if it is 100 character long, and your requirement is to take the part of sub part of the string, and the string starts, or that particular index from where you would like to extract your string is at index 50 up to the last index, which is 99. This is your requirement. And suppose your string length do vary. It is today might be a user is giving a string of a length 100 characters. Tomorrow he might give a 200 characters. The day after that it might give a 10 characters. Here, lot of the input is very dynamic. So you can't tell which end you would like to, or you can't tell the end position. So now for this, a character of length 10, the last index is 9. So here, the last index is changing. So you can't give any end value. But I'm saying for any length of the string, I say if I have a total length of 10, then I want to take the second half of that particular string. It means if I have a letter, say A, B, C, D, E. For simplicity, let us take only 2. Now I'm saying I would like to take the index which is exactly at the middle of the sentence as my start point. And from there onwards, I would like to extract all my remaining characters. And that's what the required output. That's what my logic is. Then this particular thing will fail, right? What can we do? The option is Z. You mention the start point and you put a colon, you don't mention the end position. Python is smart enough to understand that you would like to start from the start point, and after that, whatever length or whatever characters you have, you would like to extract all the characters till the end of that particular string. If you have a sentence called this is Python, and we can see this the index 0, 1, 2, 3, space would be 4, 5, and a 6. And your requirement is to extract your data from index 5. So you do Z of index 5 and a colon. You don't provide the end. So what output you will get it? Your output would be is Python would be your output. Clear so far? Just give me thumbs up if it's clear. Here the indexing and slicing part, I will go a bit slow because same indexing slicing concepts we use in tuple and list also. And if you go further in the pandas and NumPy later in our course, even there also you can use the indexing and slicing. So this is very important concept. Great. As you gave the thumbs up, let us go to the code and code it. So now I have taken a word called cycle. Here I'm saying I'm starting with 0 until 5 I need it. And when I execute, it has given me the data till index 4 only. It did not include the 5 because S is at index 0, A is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this A is till index 4. That's why you got till the fourth index only. As I mentioned, end position is not included in the output. Now I'm saying I would like to start from this particular index, and from there onwards, I would like to extract it the fourth index. The same way. Now for the same thing, let me say I would like to start from a 2, but after that second index, whatever I have to the right of that particular character, I would like to extract everything. So you simply do the start position colon, that's it, and it extracts everything. The start one and any character you have to the right side of this string. Now let me introduce one more small concept here. So far we have seen that in indexing, I told you the start, where you mentioned the start position, colon, you mentioned the end position, colon. Now there is a new parameter, or I can say new input, which is called a step. So far we did not use this thing because the default value of step is 1. So let us see how it works. If I'm saying 0, colon, 3, and step as a 1, let us keep a default step to understand it. And I have a word called Harshita. So guys, I'm just taking your name as a reference. If you're not comfortable, please let me know. I will not take names, okay? Any of your names, okay? So let us take this Harshita. I'm saying I would like to start from index 0. So then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm saying the end is 1, end is 3. In the execution, what happens if I assign it to Z and say Z of this thing, sorry, Z of this thing, first it will print the first variable, first letter. Then it increased by 1. So initially it was a 0 index, it printed it. After that, it increased the 0. So it happens something like this, 0 plus 1, which becomes 1. And you have A at index 1, so A is taken. Now, after this is taken, that again this 1 will be increased by 1. So it would be 1 plus 1 because the latest index you have is 1. So I'm doing 1 plus 1, which is giving me 2. So I will get the R also as an output. Okay. Now after that, this will not be printed because the end is not considered. So it will stop here. If this is the case, if I'm giving you this particular piece of a code, 0 colon, let me say 6 colon 2. And let me write the word. Now, can you tell me what would be the output of this particular piece of a code? Here I'm saying are 2. Here I said 1. Anyone would like to tell me what could be the output, or at least try it? So we are starting with HRS. So yeah, we start with 0, H, very good. Then someone says R, okay, great. So 0 plus HR only maybe. But I'm going till 6, right? And this is the 6th index. You started with 0, which it printed. Then when you printed 0th index, what we did it after that, we did 0 plus 1 to find out the next index. So here what we will do, we'll do 0 plus 2 because the step here is mentioned 2. So the next item it will consider is the index at 2. So that's how you get a R. And after that, in the next iteration is a 2 plus 2, which will give you 4. So you will get HRH as an output. If you add 4 plus 2, which is a 6, and 6 is the end index, so it will not be, or it does not print the end index, because that's what the behavior is. So you will get HRH. So Sanjana says HRS, you are absolutely correct. Others, did you get how I got this thing, HRH? We understood the behavior, right? The step behavior. So let us go and code it and see it. So now I'm taking this particular variable which contains target, and I'm doing a 0 colon colon 1. And I told you this step equal to 1 is a default. If you pass or does not pass, does not matter. By default, it is increase, or the step it takes is 1. So when I execute this thing, I'm getting cycle, the same one, because it is increasing by 1. But when I'm increasing with 3, now I'm getting only SK, because 0 plus 3 is 3 index. So it would be 0, 1, 2, 3. So K is at the third index. So you're getting a K. After that, you are adding 3 plus 3, 6, but your string length is not that much long. It stopped executing. Yeah. Now, these all things we spoke about the positive indexes. I hope you might be thinking that if I can do the similar kind of things with a negative index. Yes, we can do. So let us see a negative index. So let me take a different name, depend graph. So it's -1, because negative index we are talking -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, -8, which is assigned to Z. If now I'm saying Z of -1 colon, I'm doing this thing. So what would be the output? I'm doing Z -1 colon colon 1. Then what would be the output? Anyone? Because both is different in a sense. Anyone would like to tell me what would the output of Z of -1 colon? It will give you A, R, D, E, N, P, I, T. Then I said the default increment is always 1. Then ideally even this has to give the same output. Now let us see, because here I would like to tell you something. So let me take the same variable SG. I'm doing -1 colon. So I'm doing -1 colon, I'm getting this thing. But I'm doing this. If I'm doing again colon 1, I'm getting the same output. But what was our expectation when I did -1 colon? Our expectation was this, okay, which reverses the string, but that's not the case here. That's not the case. Okay, then let me increase by -1. Why that particular thing happened? Let us understand. The reason is we know the default step. Default step is equal to 1. And when I do Z of -1 colon, then first it is printing the -1, the index at -1, which is A. So you got A. Then I'm doing a -1 plus 1. What I get? 0. And this will not be printed because we are taking the consideration of my negative index. So it will stop its execution here. But when I did -1 colon colon -1, first it printed me A. Then it did -1 plus -1, which is -2. So that's how it printed me R. And then -2 -1, which is -3. Then it printed me R. And that's how it prints me the string in the reverse order. No, it will not go, Madhu, in that way, because now you are referring the minus index. Now when it is moving from a minus C. So this is, suppose this is your number line. This is your 0, this is positive, this is your negative. Now when you're working with the negative index and suddenly it encounters 0, then Python I can say in a way get confused, because you're talking about the negative index, but the zero is an index which starts from right to left, not the left to right. So that's why it does not execute it. It stops here. It does not go further, which says 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. It does not do it. Let me execute that. Let me execute. Because this particular piece of a code is equivalent of saying that st of -1 colon colon. These two piece of a code is equivalent, because here you are not mentioning the end position, and I told you by default step is 1, and here you are mentioning the colon, but you are not mentioning the end position, neither the step. So these two piece of a code is same or equivalent, or gives you the same output. But if you would like to reverse it, you can do a -1 in the step, and that's how it knows that it has to take a minus steps. If that's the case, if I do st0, which is a left to right index, I'm doing a -1 to it. And if I see the value of this st for cycle, well, let me take Dipendra itself. It will give only D, because first it prints the data at the index 0, and now it's moving to the negative index, and now 0 minus 1 is -1. So you are saying I would like to go this way, and but suddenly you are going the other way around. So in Python, the slicing, indexing and slicing is not implemented in that way. That's the reason you will not get the required output. Only output you will get is the letter you have at the start position. Clear, Madhu? Welcome. Yeah. Now tell me, if that's the case, if I'm doing a z of -3 colon colon, or which is the equivalent of z of -3 colon, both are equivalent, just now I showed you. And if z contains Dipendra, RA, right? Dipendra, then what would be the output for this piece of a code? Just recall whatever I explained. What would be the output? The first would be something at index 3, -3. What we have, you said DRA. Okay. It says -3, -2, -1. So Madhu says DRA. Any other thoughts? Anyone? Okay, I will show that. You're correct. No. You early one. DRA is correct, because first you're starting with -3, then you're adding 1 to it, which will give you -2. Then you are adding 1 to it, which gives you -1. After that, if you add 1 to -1, which gives you 0. So after this step, it stops. So DRA is correct one. What if I'm doing -3 colon colon -1? What would be the output here? What would be the output here? Just recall what I told you. First it prints -3, then -3 -1 would be my next position, then -4 -1 would be my next position, index position, then -5 -1 would be my next position. It will print everything after D. So it would be getting, you will be getting D and E P I D. So let me execute that. If I'm doing -3 colon, or I do -3 colon colon, I will get DRA. But if I do ST -3 colon colon -1, then you will get D and E PID, means a data from here to here. I hope it's clear, everyone. Anyone has any question? This particular slicing is very important. So now for this particular piece of a code, I believe you understood how the code executed, -9 to 9. So I'm not explaining it, but now let us go and check different methods available in the string data type. So to see the list of all the methods or the variables the string data type has, you do dir of string str, and it gives you the list of the methods you can use with this string. So let us see a couple of those methods, not all. Let us see a couple of those methods. The first is lower. So you do st.lower, it converts everything into the lower case. You do st.upper, obviously it will convert everything into the upper case. Okay. But what if you would like to capitalize on the first letter? then you have the method called capitalize, sorry, st dot capitalize. It capitalizes the first letter. So far it's clear. Now let us see this particular string, which has a leading and a trailing spaces, and you would like to remove it. So let me take this particular thing. To remove the leading spaces, you use L strips. L means left side. So it removes all the spaces you have at the left side of this particular string. Can we get this document, all the formula? Yes, yes, you will be getting it. You will be getting it. This Jupyter notebook, you will get it, Madhu. Okay. Now, if I have something called L strip to remove all the spaces to the left of my string, then what would be the method to remove all the spaces from the right side? Any thoughts? If for a left side I am saying L strip, then for a right side it might be R strip. Yes or no? Because I would like to strip something from the right side, so that is R strip. If you would like to strip any spaces you have at the right side of your string. Now, what if you would like to strip the spaces on the both the sides, right and left? So for that thing, you simply do a strip. So if you remove left, it's a L strip. If you would like to remove the right side, it's R strip. If you want to remove both the sides, the spaces from the both the sides, it's strip. Now suppose this is your string. This is your string. Okay. Now in your database, you saved your data in this way where each of the value is a pipe separated. And now when you got this thing to your Python, you have to split it, right? That you have to split it, save it to your variable, and then you have to consume it. But how can I do that? For that, you have a built-in method called strip. And when I do z dot strip, let me initialize this thing. Sorry, not strip, my bad, it's a split, not a strip. So it's a z dot split. And when you do z dot split, it splits the data. But if you look closely, it did not split our data as a using the pipe operator as a delimiter. So why did it happen? It happened because by default, the delimiter for a split is space. Okay, don't believe me. Let us see the documentation. So I do z dot split help. So this is the documentation which talks. This is the documentation we have on the split method. Go through it, you will understand. Okay. And now if I would like to change the behavior, the default behavior, then I can pass the delimiter which I would like to use. Again, I'm doing it on a strip. My bad. Let me do it on a split. So now I have a piper operator which I would like to use it for a splitting. So I do z split and then you pass your delimiter. By default, it's a space. If you pass a delimiter explicitly, then it considers that particular delimiter to delimit your data. And look closely when it did delimit using the pipe operator, this couple word has a space also. Here, see, a space is captured. Here also, after 1, 2, 3, a space is captured. After 95, a space is captured. Previously, when we did not have this delimiter, in none of the places you have the space. So after couple, there is a space, a split is done. These two considered as a single one. Then again a space, again it did a split. So far it's clear. Now the next method we will see is the replace method. A very simple method we have seen in our when we are using Excel, MS Word or anything, you know the replace method. What do? You find a particular substring and you try to replace that thing with some other value. The same syntax here. The first you mentioned what you would like to find and what you would like to replace it with. I'm saying I would like to find a space and would like to replace it with equal to. And that's how you can do this particular thing. Now, let us see a next method, which is all num. It gives you a true and a false as an output. Let us see when it gives a true, when it gives a false. Now here I'm introducing a new method called input. We use this input method to take an input from the end user. So I'm doing Z of input and I'm giving a narration or a label so the end user know what information it has to pass. So now let me pass 100 and I passed a number. Yes. So it means if I add something if I add something to my number, it should add and it should get the addition output, right? So let me do that. But it gave me the error. Though when I entered, it was a number, but when I try to add this thing with some other number, it is giving me the error, and the error says can only concatenate string to string, not integer. Why it is so? So let us check the type of this variable z, which shows a string. So why I have shown you this thing? Because when the input method takes something input from the end user, it converts or it stores it as a string. So for that thing, either you have to convert it into the numerics by doing the typecasting that we will see later. But now, if you look closely, now it's a string, it's a number, but the input store it as a string. So now I would like to check whether the input given by the user, whether he has given the number or not. If not, then I will throw some error to the end user that please enter the number rather than a string. So for such cases, let me say you can use this is all num. When I say is all num, what output you are getting? True. It's telling that yes, whatever input the user has passed, it's a number. Okay. So it's is all is alphanumeric. So let me re do it. If I say 100, please execute. And when I do is all num, which means it means is alphanumeric. So yes, it is alphanumeric. There is the next one which is numeric, which checks whether the input is purely a numeric or not. Let me say 100. And if I check is numeric, it's giving me true because it's purely a numeric. But is alphanumeric gives you true if it contains alphanumeric. And is numeric gives you true when you have only the numeric as an input. Okay. What it does, it checks whatever input you are giving it, though it's stored in a string, it checks whether it is a number or not, and it returns back. And now suppose using this thing, you can validate the user input. If you're expecting a number and user is passing a sentence, then you can validate and get it back. There is one more method which says is alpha. When is all num, which is alpha and numeric, means you check whether the input string contains both numeric or the alphanumeric. Alpha, if it contains alphanumeric data or not. Then is alpha only looks for the alphabets. So let us execute this thing. Now I'm saying 100, then test. So now Z stores that particular value, which is 100 test. If I do is alpha, it is giving me a false as an output because here I'm looking only for the alphabets. But if I change it to test, it means it contains this value, and if I do is alpha, I get a true as an output. Okay. Now, one of you have asked one question, so let me address that part also, where you said if I have z equal to something like this, ABC, still the indexing will happen. So it's z of I'm doing 0. And what we have at the 0th index, it's at the rate. So I get a at the rate as an output. This space is at which location or which index? It's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So z of 4 is at the space is in z of 4. Okay, clear? So I think Madhu or someone asked me this question. So we have seen this thing practically also. And now we have seen only couple of methods we have, but I would recommend you to explore. So here I have given you the complete list of the where exactly it went. Okay, let me do it again. dir of str, which gives you the complete list of the methods. So I encourage you to explore the remaining methods. If you face any challenge, any difficulty, please get back to me, and I will address your question. But try it. Okay, I just covered which is used often, but I did not cover all the methods available in Stream. The next part is a type casting or type coercion. I've shown you that previously in this case where I'm taking an input, though I'm passing an integer, it is stored as a string. And now I can't perform any arithmetic operation on these strings. Or I can't perform any arithmetic operation on this particular number which is stored as a string. In this case, you try to convert its data type. And when you try to convert a data type, it is called typecasting. So how to do typecasting? You do whatever whatever data you have, or whichever data type you would like to convert, that particular function you call and you pass that data which you would like to convert. And now I'm doing int of z. Whatever value z contains, let us see what value z contains. It contains 100. It's in a string format. How do I know it's a string? Because I have the quotations here, single quotes. So now I'm doing L equal to int of Z, means I've converted the Z, which was a string 100, into the integer. And now if I print the value of L, I don't see the quotations. And if I check the type of this thing also, it shows it as a integer data type. And now I can do addition, subtraction, all the arithmetic operations. Clear? Tell me one thing. Let me give you an example. Test 100 and test 50. Suppose I have these two values. Okay? And I'm doing x plus y. X contains a text, the y contains a text. I'm doing x plus y. What would be the impact, or what would be the output, or will I get any error? Because I've seen that generally the arithmetic operations we can apply only on the number type, which has a float, integer. So such data types I can apply. But now it is two text. Can I apply that? Anyone else? Any other guess you have? It might throw the error. Not sure. It might append. Not sure. Any other guesses? Guess is correct. It appends the two data. So this plus operator is overloaded to perform multiple, to behave differently with the different data types. For a number data type, integer and float, it adds it. For a string data type, it concatenates it. And this is called operator overloading, which we will see when we get into the class-based programming part, the classes and those things. Okay, oops part. So that's a case. If that's a case, if I do plus 10, it gives me the error because text, an integer. But if I enclose this thing into quotation, then I don't get error, but it concatenates. Okay. So far it's clear. This thing, I don't think it's required. Let me try one more operations in front of you. Let us see how it behaves. Now I am taking x, I'm multiplying it with 2. What would be the output here? Because x is a text which is test 100. I'm doing a multiplication operation. I'm multiplying it with 2. But it did. Whatever text you have, the test 100, it was repeated twice. If I say 3, you get the same output thrice. Absolutely correct. So now you see even these operators are different operators we have seen yesterday, the plus minus, okay, the into is behaving differently when you are applying with the text. Okay. Now I would recommend you to check with x minus y how it behaves. Okay. Check for that thing. I've shown you the plus, I've shown you multiply. Check for remaining operations, how it behaves. Okay. Is it doable? Can you people test that from your end once?
It says
Thank you.
error. Yeah, I tried x minus y. It says error.
It says errors. Okay. So, and x divided by y, that will also give you error.
Yeah, yeah, it still shows error.
Absolutely correct. And it says unsupported operand type, right? For minus and division also. So the implementation here, why I asked you to search or do that one, because the implementation is only done for plus and the multiplication, only those two operands. If you do minus, it does not what exactly do that. Do I need to remove the common letters from both the text or a string, etc.? It does not know. So that's a reason the implementation is not done. First thing is the implementation is not done. But when we go to the sets, there you can see a functionality where you can do set one minus set two, where it removes the common parts from both the sets. That is scheduled for later part. Okay, so this is about a string, and please, I will share a couple of coding exercises and this workbook with you people. The indexing and size slicing part, please practice. That is my recommendation because it's very important. You can see that you're using later also. When we go to the NumPy also, you will see the same indexing and the slicing thing in the NumPy in the pandas also. So that is very important. So that is about a string. Now let me introduce you to the next data type, which is a part of sequence data type. And the data type we will talk is a list data type. What is a list? List is a comma separated heterogeneous elements enclosed in a square brackets. A simple layman term. So I'm saying a list is a comma separated heterogeneous. What is heterogeneous? It means it might first one might be a one data type, the second one might be a third data type, the third one might be a different data type. This is called heterogeneous. And fourth one again might be a different data type. And These things are enclosed in a square bracket, and this is called a list. The second property, list, is mutable. It means you can edit the items or the elements. So I often use items and elements interchangeably. I mean the same thing when I use items or item or elements. So each of these elements, you can now suppose you would like to update this thing one with say 100. So you can do that because the list is mutable. Okay. So tomorrow we will understand more on the list. Okay. List indexing, etc. Couple of methods list has, list comprehension. Those things we will understand tomorrow. So this is not a single string, I believe, right? It's a multiple things, correct?
Be covered in the list.
So if this is the case you have, but very good question. So I have something in my mind which you can use it to split. 1 minute, let me check it. So when I do z dot split, I said here I can mention the delimiter. So I'm using a minus slash n and I could able to delimit it. Why slash n? Yesterday, I think you were not part of the session. So slash n means the enter or carriage return. If you go more technically, the technical name of slash n is carriage return. But if you go towards some layman definition, the slash n means the enter symbol. As each one of these is separated by enter, I said I would like to split this string with slash n. And wherever it encounters a slash n, it did the splitting. Okay, if this is your string. Clear?